Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Last time we discussed the characteristics of the algae and there are some other characteristics of algae. There is reproduction in algae. Reproduction occurs by vegetative methods. There is fragmentation, one of the common methods of fragmentation. That is, a thallus breaks into pieces, and each piece can develop into new individual, new alga or new individual. A filamentous form can break into segments or fragments, and each fragment can develop into new individual. It is the common method of reproduction in vegetative reproduction in algae. Besides, there are some adventitious branches. They can help in the vegetative reproduction. There are tubers, there are stolons, etc. They can also help in vegetative reproduction. Now, asexual reproduction occurs by the formation of common mitospores, and these may be zoospores. Zoospores are motile, thin-walled. These are thin-walled spores formed inside a rounded structure that is called as zoosporangium. As explained in the lower fungi. Likewise here, zoospores are formed inside a structure like this, and there is formation of spores inside this structure, and this is called as zoosporangium, and it may later release zoospores. These zoospores may be biflagellate. These may be biflagellate. Biflagellate means two flagella. These may be tetraflagellate. Or these may be multiflagellate. Multiflagellate. Zoospores are common in, there is one that is called as the Chlamydomonas. And there is another that we call as Ulothrix. These are green algae. These zoospores are formed. There is another type of spores, those are called as aplanospores. These spores are formed with thin walls, thin-walled, and these are non-motile spores. Thin-walled, non-motile spores formed under favorable conditions. Another hypnospores. Hypnospores are formed thick-walled, non-motile spores are these. Non-motile spores, and they are formed under unfavorable conditions. Unfavorable conditions. There is another, those are called as the acinids. Acinids are thick-walled, food-laden, resting cells. These are formed in response to deteriorating habitat conditions. If the habitat conditions become harsh or unfavorable, now they form the thick-walled, food-laden, long spores, resting cells. Those are called as acinids. And there is a unique that is called as Palmela stage or Palmela spores. Palmela spores or Palmela stage. Now, large number of naked green non-motile unicells are there, or formed and they are embedded in mucilage. And these are called as Palmela spores. And this stage is called as Palmela stage. There is, for example, Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas is like this, and it forms large number of cells inside, and they are then covered by mucilage. This is mucilage, thick mucilage, and these prevent the excessive salts, toxic chemicals and desiccation. and under favorable conditions each cell can develop into new individual, or each Palmela spore can develop into new individual. Such a stage under unfavorable conditions is called as Palmela stage. Now sexual reproduction occurs by the formation of gametes. Sexual reproduction occurs by the formation of gametes. Gametes may be motile or non-motile. And then it leads to the fusion of gametes. That is synagamy or fertilization, which leads to the formation of zygote, and zygote may undergo meiosis and mitosis, and new individuals are then formed. However, there is no embryo formation. In the life cycle. Now, on the basis of shape and form and size of the gametes, sexual reproduction may be isogamy. When the gametes are morphologically similar, that is, both may be motile or non-motile, of the same shape and size, and these are usually flagellated in most cases and similar in size. There is one chlamydomonas, there is Spirogyra, where isogamy occurs, that is, gametes are morphologically similar, flagellated or non-flagellated, but similar in shape and size. And in contrast to isogamy, there is heterogamy. Heterogamy means when the gametes are dissimilar. It can be of two types. There is anisogamy. Anisogamy means when the gametes are structurally dissimilar, which differ in size and behavior. Male gamete is more active, while as the female gamete is passive. That is, they are morphologically dissimilar. And there is an alga that is called as Eudorina, colonial alga hai ye. And there are some species of Chlamydomonas also, some species of Chlamydomonas. And Eudorina. And there is another that is called as oogamy. Oogamy. Oogamy means when male gamete is oogamy means when male gamete is small, it is active or it is motile, while as female gamete is large, it is passive, it is non-motile. Such asexual reproduction is first heterogamy, then it is called as oogamy, and it is common in the green alga, that is volvox, and there is another fucus, etc. And earlier I said that there is no embryo stage. An embryo stage is not present, and the life cycle is mostly will be haplontic or diplontic or diplohaplontic. Haplontic means the life cycle in which haploid phase is the major phase, dominant phase. Diplontic means the life cycle in which the diploid stage is dominant or more, while as diplohaplontic means that life cycle in which haploid phase as well as diploid phase are equal or to some extent having the same manner or time. So most of alga जो हैं, they have haplontic life cycle. And most of the algae, like green algae, red algae, these are, and there are some of them like ectocarpus. It is a brown algae. Like Polysiphonia, it is a red algae. And kelps. Kelps, last time I said that these are giant algae and these are usually brown algae. These have diplohaplontic life cycle, while as there is very rare some algae, that is, for example, fucus species, it is diplontic. And in this case, that is diplohaplontic. These have alternation of generation. Alternation of generation means alternate haploid and diploid generation, very prominent generation. Although it is, most of the algae do not have the exhibit alternation of generation because they have haploidic life cycle. They are haploid, they divide vegetatively or asexually, and they give rise to new individuals. So there is no alternation of generation. And we will later on discuss these haploidic, diploidic and diplohaploidic life cycles. And alternation of generation is actually the regular alternating of a gamete bearing haploid gametophyte and a spore producing diploid sporophyte. Haploid gametophyte is alternated by a spore producing diploid sporophyte, and that is rare in case of algae. However, some diplohaploidic they exhibit the alternation of generation.